Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. Stand in line for your fix. A triple shot of Mark is in the mix, serving you yet another round of fish and grits. September 25th, 2017. How's it going today, my man?
It's going beautiful. We have returned from the longest break in history. We have returned.
We are good for now.
Oh, I sense a lot of hostility with my man Wilson tonight. Are you okay, my man? Like,
I'm
what's really burning you up today? Because my man's just mad today. My man's is just
I'm
mad
good,
today. He's
man,
pissed
and
off.
I won't say that
He New York mad.
I won't say that I'm mad per se. I just do not like clever misdirection. I do not like media manipulation. I do not like the masses being conformed to an ideal or to a stance or sentiment that they may not know anything or may not know completely about. Uh, because, quite frankly, all of this indignation, all of this rhetoric that's going on for these quote unquote protests by the NFL this weekend, a lot of people really don't understand exactly why these protests are occurring. Uh, because if they think that this is about Kaepernick and social and criminal justice reform
Hmm.
and taking away a lot of the problems that go on with police treatment of minorities, et cetera, they are very, very sadly mistaken. This is just an outpouring of butt hurt because the president decided to put his nose where it didn't belong and call them out on Twitter and at a bullshit pep rally in Alabama, which coincidentally is a state that does not have an NFL team, which
Mm.
doesn't really impress me with him saying it, because if you really felt that way about
Uh huh.
NFL teams and NFL players,
Have
say
a
it in a
Puerto
state
Rican
that's got
NFL
NFL
team.
teams.
Yeah, yeah.
Say it in an NFL city. Really want to be
That's
about
true.
that life, stay in an NFL city. But we get these folks to ride this wave, and again, it's still got to be about the military and disrespecting the flag and this, that, and the other, which is a lot of BS as well. And before anybody decides to want to check my credentials for it, know and understand that I'm a military brat, grew up in a military household, and I have current members of my family in every single branch of the military, including the Coast Guard. So it's not like I'm getting my information or my sentiment out of thin air. Uh, these folks can go and sit and redirect and try to make it about this and try to make it about that, when in for these folks that are not plugged into the matrix and are just mindless sheep, understand that this is doing nothing but actually taking away from what Cap knelt for in the first
Exactly.
place. Which is why I'm glad that Cap had already come out and said that even if he got back into the NFL, he would no longer be kneeling, because that message got what he wanted out of it, and it was
Hmm.
time to deliver a new message.
That
These folks
chapter's
can
done.
go,
Yeah, that chapter's
yeah,
done.
people can go and be trendy about this shit and decide that they want to kneel and lock arms. And I mean, I understand completely. Don't get it twisted. I understand completely why NFL players and owners would get together and do that as a show of strength and unity, and outcry of stay in your lane, shut the fuck up, and do what you're supposed to be doing, getting this healthcare together, or getting out help to Puerto Rico, or the existing problems that are still going on in Florida and Texas and
But he
Mexico
worried about
and
the
various.
NFL.
But you're sitting here with these massive Twitter fingers and this massive podium tough talk, talking about the NFL and what you would do if you owned an NFL team. And this is the same NFL that refused to let your ass in, so you went and you destroyed the USFL with your strong arm tactics when you took over the New York Generals back in the day. And if you don't believe me on that, check the 30 for 30 on it. They did a whole documentary about it.
It's sad that a lot of this is going on. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure y'all can hear me. But I have to agree with everything that you had said, and you said it so eloquently. It's just amazing to see that all the teams that turned their back on Kaepernick and what he was standing, I mean, what he was kneeling for, and all of a sudden, because like you said, you pissed in my backyard. Now all of a sudden, I want to stand and bring awareness of social injustice, but you only bring in awareness because somebody happened to, I guess, offend the NFL, and you felt like Trump was coming at y'all. So everybody, all of a sudden, you see those people that weren't trying to speak on the matter, all of a sudden want to speak up, a la
But
Ray
understand
Lewis.
this though, and this is the thing, not to cut you off.
Oh no, you good?
Understand this. All of the stuff that went on this weekend has nothing to do with social injustice. They just felt offended because they were called sons of bitches, and these billionaires that contributed millions of dollars to Trump's campaign feel like they're getting slighted and called out by a man that they chose to support. It has nothing to do with trying to support Kaepernick or any of the systems that he's trying to put in place, any of the talk about social and criminal justice reform that he was trying to bring up. It has nothing to do with it.
And that's what's funny. If you sit up there and watch Rex Ryan on the the Sunday countdown or whatnot, and he was talking about how he supported Donald Trump and he brought him out at the Bills rally when he was running for president, and he was just going to say that this is not the type of person that he's kind of backed or behind the president of his comments about the NFL and him saying call them sons of bitches or whatnot, and he says that nobody that he's ever coached was a son of a bitch. It's kind of like a family, but it's just like, and he's talking about how it's just like he was blindsided all of a sudden, and all of a sudden it's want to say, oh well, I didn't know Trump was acting like this, and I'm just like, Trump's been the same consistent person from Jump
Street.
Same
asshole.
And that's what's crazy. And it's crazy. All of a sudden, everybody wants to quote unquote forget that. Oh well, Donald Trump has been talking.
Now he's the bad guy. All of it.
Exactly. Because he finally got to your I guess social group or person or whatever clique you want to claim, and he been shitting on. He been shitting on Jews. He been shitting on women. He been shitting on gays. He been shitting on blacks. He been shitting on everybody. And he finally got to the NFL, and finally y'all felt like, oh, okay, now he's talking too much shit. But it's like he's been the same consistent person. The only inconsistency I see is the NFL and the way they pick and choose the shit they want to back behind, and it blows my mind. It blows my mind that we have to sit here and we people are congratulating and clapping their hands for these people that's kneeling or not coming out for the anthem and stuff like that. But it's like, yo, you missing the biggest picture because you want to, I guess it's because it's going to be clickbait and it makes the NFL look a little bit better. Oh, maybe those people that are not watching us going tune in now to see what we're going to do. But it's just like, yo, it's really annoying in my opinion. It really is.
No, it definitely is, because it's all for show. It's all a big ass TV show, and they really trying to play with people's minds with this situation.
The other thing that really gets me about this is it's been time tried and true that whenever you have a situation where somebody like Donald Trump, or more specifically, I'm not even going to compare it to anybody else, I'm going to compare it directly to Donald Trump. Whenever Donald Trump is in a position where he has entered an arena and feels like he has some measure of leverage or power, he always turns it and shits on the people that got him to that spot. He always goes through and makes it look like it's all about him, that he's the one and everybody else is beneath him. It was that way once he got elected. He had all his people in place and everything was all good, and he had his little system, his little conglomerate or whatever. But as soon as he got on, them folks started actually dissenting with his opinions. People started getting fired left and right. He's the same way. He's been that way in business. As soon as he gets a leg up on somebody and stuff like that, he don't care. You fired. Made a TV series out of it. Yeah, he made himself a hashtag with that shit.
Hey, it was a pretty good. Yeah. I actually enjoyed that TV show. That's the only thing. That's the one thing I can say about Trump is I really enjoyed The Apprentice. I was a fan with Omarosa and the bullshit at the beginning, and it got kind of a little bit too TV for me. But it was interesting. But I mean, this weekend, I mean, it was amazing. Finally, see people, I guess, kind of speaking out against certain stuff. So I guess you can take some type of positive away from it. But me personally, it was distasteful to me because it's just like this man. You now all of a sudden you want to stand up and try to defend. I mean, because we said it too many times. Like it's ridiculous that we live in a time where you can't see a person's statement and get something and you can't see his viewpoints. Like somebody can't come to you with I guess how they feel about something and you not understanding what he's trying to say. It's like we're not trying to understand what certain people are trying to say until somebody else says it for like the fifth time. And it's ridiculous. Like when you're growing up, your parents tell you all the time, don't do this, don't do that. But it's like until you heard it from somebody else or your parents say it the 50th time, you all of a sudden something snaps and then all of a sudden, oh, that's what you've been trying to say. But it's like, I've been trying to tell you this from the get-go, and why are you not listening? So I just feel like we need to pay attention more to what Kaepernick's trying to say.
Well, a fundamental problem that we have as a people and as a society at large, and especially as it pertains to stuff like this arena, multimedia, social media, and stuff like that, is that far too often the case is in the midst of what's being said or in the midst of what's being discussed, far too often people are listening with the intent to debate or rebut and not understand. And
I agree.
that's a basic fundamental problem. Everything that's discussed or said isn't a damn argument. Sometimes you need to discuss things in order to reach a solution. That doesn't mean that it's a debate. That doesn't mean that it's up for just arguing just to see who can prove their point better. It's to come to a common understanding and an overall solution. People are more interested in the argument than the solution because, like reality TV, which I have never, ever heard of, displays to us, people are far more willing to celebrate people's failures and celebrate drama than commemorate people for attempting to achieve and get understanding. And that is a huge problem in this country because it's something that's going to affect an entire generation of people, because you're literally having kids that are being raised under this type of rhetoric, under this type of directives, where they don't really care about finding a solution or finding a common ground. They just care about being right. Fundamentally wrong. That goes against everything that we were fundamentally taught as far as it pertaining to functioning and communicating with one another, as far as achieving goals as a community, as a team, as a group, as a society. It goes against all of those principles, and it doesn't benefit those people that are trying to get this argument out or trying to get these likes. It's furthering a hidden agenda from people that want us to exist in chaos and divisiveness, that want us to continue to fight each other and backstab each other and browbeat each other and drag each other down, because ultimately there are other people that, at this point, because people don't have that scope of vision, that are going to profit infinitely from this, and it's not going to be us.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And then it just blows my mind that a lot of fans call themselves being mad, or I guess they kind of rub some of the fans of certain teams that I guess they happen to take
for fanatics, though. They're just being fanatics.
I guess so, man. It's crazy. It's gonna be interesting to see how far this stuff goes and how long it's gonna last. And I really want to see.
It's not gonna last long at all, bro. It's just for show.
Oh, it's gonna be super interesting to see how it lasts, because in 3 weeks we got NBA season rolling around, and I guarantee you Trump's gonna have plenty to say. I guarantee you Trump is gonna have stuff to say about them.
Exactly. And if you saw media today, I mean, media day for the NBA, LeBron had a lot to say when it comes to politics, and I was very shocked at his statements. He was very bold in his statements, and I really like what he. This is finally, I can say something positive about LeBron. I really like what he said.
That's the issue. Like Trump really.
I'm childish.
Trump really got these athletes like becoming heroes, and that's not what it should be like. Like they shouldn't be the voice of everything. Like I get they got the stage, but. This is all a distraction, man. Like all this shit is a distraction. It's a big ass distraction. What from? Who knows? But it's just a big. It's the president versus athletes.
The only thing that you have to do right now is just go back and look, since Trump's been talking, and just go through and Google, or just out of curiosity, look at some of your news websites and see some of the things that may or may not be going through Congress right now, or may not be getting approval. Bills that are being passed and signed on and stuff like that. Every time stuff like this happens, whenever people finally wake up and get out of the fog that they're in and look, they'll be like, oh, damn, I didn't know that this happened. I didn't know that they signed off on this. I didn't know that they signed off on that.
Healthcare bill, they need everybody be keep an eye on that one.
Nigga, fuck that. Niggas carrying swords.
I mean, there's always going to be a hidden agenda when somebody goes to what I feel is a clickbait knee-jerk situation, because everybody's been so all up in arms about this, and all of the usual suspects are falling right down like dominoes down the NASCAR, trying to stick their neck in it, and the Richard Petty's, and we're gonna fire them, and if they don't like it, they can move out of the country, and this, that, and the other, and all this other good stuff.
The Joe Dirt and the cable guys of the world.
And get your ass out of my country. We love that people aren't understanding is there's a method behind the madness, but people aren't paying attention, because the biggest thing that I hear from time to time from people that are paying attention is, man, why is Trump still campaigning? Why is Trump still campaigning? Because Trump is trying to do everything in his power to get that extra 4 years. And if people stay distracted with all this clickbait stuff and still sit with all this quote unquote
it'll be 4 years in no time, and everybody's gonna be voting for his ass again.
Well, everybody that matters to him will be out voting, and all of us will be sitting there pissed and trying to shoot our middle finger at the world by saying, well, voting don't affect shit, this, that, and that. And you're gonna lose again, and you're gonna go through 4 more years of this shit. So people need to wake up and pay attention.
Yeah, that's true. I agree.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Also, I don't know if y'all want to get into too much NBA
Oh
talk because
yeah,
the NBA season is just
Yo, man, we
it's,
fishing
it's
grits. This is what we
we
do,
fishing
man. Listen,
grits. We gotta
what I'm
talk
saying.
NBA.
It's hurtful for me. It's
Oh
hurtful for me
man.
seeing
Rockets
Melo.
fan. Ain't got nothing to do with me.
don't hurt
Uh,
the markets like that.
Hey, Rockets
can
still.
I just have
Hey, I'm just saying.
can I
Spurs
just
still.
have a
You
moment of
know, I
silence
mean, I'm not
for
tripping.
the Rockets, Melo? Just
Go
a
ahead,
moment of
sir. Go
silence.
ahead. I'm
Just
sorry,
a
sir.
it's
I'm
All
a
right,
sorry.
moment.
let's give him a minute. Okay, that minute's
All
over,
right,
man.
man. Let's talk
I'm
about the
fine that
NBA.
we
Let's
didn't
talk
get
about the
Melo.
NBA. What's going on?
I'm fine that we didn't get Melo.
I'm fine we didn't get it. It would have been nice just to have that extra piece, but I understand why nobody wanted to take on Ryan Anderson. I got no problem with nobody in the NBA not wanting to take on that fucking contract.
I
That's a
understand,
setup.
but I
You,
still think
let
Ryan
me be
Anderson
the
is better for our
first on.
system.
Let me be the first on the outside looking in to say this, and I know it's an extreme opinion. Uh, that's going to turn out to be a blessing in disguise not getting Carmelo because I really don't see where that would do anything to kind of boost the
It would have
conversation.
tied up salary for at least 3 years. It would have tied up salary for at least
And
3
my
years.
thing is, if Carmelo was a younger stretch four, maybe okay, I could see the benefit of him going to the Rockets, but he's neither. So to me, it's just kind of that. Hey, didn't we go through this before and we got Barkley and Pippen and that didn't work out? That kind of situation for me. So to me, I think the Rockets dodged the bullet. Keep working on your young talent. Maybe get some other pieces in free agency or concentrate on getting something in the draft. I mean, it's not like free
It's not
agency
gonna
ain't
be
gonna
much
be
out there in
booming
free
next
agency.
year.
Man,
You go through,
it's a few.
you look, and you stay forward thinking and stuff like that. It's gonna be a huge free agent class that's coming out next year. No need,
That's true.
no need putting all your eggs in the basket because everybody keeping it 100 and calling a spade a spade. Unless three of
Warriors
them
about
dudes
to take
getting hurt,
21.
it ain't nobody in the West that's really gonna beat the Warriors. So you just kind of line yourself up and get ready to take that next dip and see if you can get some more pieces to compete. Right now, it's the Warriors' world, and we're all just living in it.
Yeah, we all just kind of just floating on the surface
And we
because
just
Three
haven't
more.
I
competed
still
taking place.
Unless like
because we
Kevin
go.
Durant really get diagnosed with CTE, like for real,
I
yeah,
think
Man,
do you, I think I was talking about this the other day. You might want to check Kevin Durant and see if he got CT.
oh,
He be doing some.
bro, that nigga is Looney Tunes.
He been doing some straight foolishness while we've been in hibernation. Fishing Grits been in hibernation. KD's been
Like
really acting the fool out here in these streets.
KD remind me of the blue dude
hey,
on Space Jam, just tall, lanky, just weirdo.
KD just got the keys to the world. He's a champion. He's on the most dominant team in the NBA. He got shoes aplenty out.
But
He's
see
getting that.
that's the
He's getting
problem.
that.
Like
I'm the best in the world love, and that's just sometimes people don't know how
basketball
to take that.
players compared to football players, they're so fucking coddled. Like their whole life they've been telling like, oh, you're the best thing, you're the next greatest thing.
Exactly.
You're the
It's
next
the
Okay, well
Jordan.
that's simple math. In
It's the
basketball, you
worst,
won a
bro.
15. In football, you won
I
a
get it.
53. Of course, you're gonna
And I
get
get it.
more.
And I get
People
it,
can
man.
see
But
your face all the time. Your face isn't covered up by a mask and a helmet. They know who you are everywhere in the world. They see your face every single game. You can't say that about football players. Football players have to go above and beyond to be in that category like basketball players. They don't have that kind of visibility.
I agree. And then Kevin Durant is using his visibility to its
Man, you
highest
see them
highs.
little beady
hey,
beads
when you with
everywhere.
Nike, you all over the place, bro.
But yeah, man,
Homie.
I like what Marcus was talking about in regards to it is the Warriors world because we look and see the Chris Paul move, or we see the Rudy Gay pick up by the Spurs, or you want to look at OKC and the moves that they're making, and you looking at the Timberwolves. But we still forget the moves that the Warriors make. We still sleep on what the Warriors did. They kept their same team in rotation, and then you added who?
That's an A+ right there.
You had Nick Young, Omir Caspi. You got two new shooters to add to your bench. So I mean, I don't know what we all
The
accomplished.
Warriors is like
Well,
you went to Papa
the
Do's,
biggest
you
thing,
ordered the platter, and they told you that you got the extra side. Like, all right, I'll take the extra
exactly.
side. Fuck
They
it.
got that $5
And
box. They got the $5
Yeah.
box, and we all working with like the break menu at McDonald's. We got the two things.
want the
But see,
two
you know,
five,
the
like,
funny
you want
part
the
about that, though, the funny part about that, to be more accurate, is the fact that, you know, the Warriors got the big platter at Papa Do's and stuff like that, but everybody sitting around them is trying to spend however much it takes to be able to get a platter the same size.
That's true.
And when you exist as a team where the main focus for every other team isn't getting better and becoming a champion, but beating you, it says a lot about the type of team that you have, because everybody right now is squarely focused on, okay, how can we get our roster to beat the Warriors? That's why you have a lot of these teams, including my own, rolling and experimenting with, well, let's make sure we got enough talent on the bench. So if we need to put a small lineup out there, we can put a small lineup out there. When you have teams in the nature of the league start to react to a specific team, that truly speaks to the dominance of that team.
Now, let me ask you a question. Now that you say that, do you consider the Heat back in the day a team that a lot of organizations went into the offseason and said, you know what, we need to get better to beat this team? I don't think that.
East they did.
Not in the East.
In the East they did.
In the East they did.
In the East they did. In the West they didn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
League-wide, no.
I think the Warriors are the first team I've seen. No. I think the Warriors are legitimate, the first team that I've seen that all the teams are planning to try to beat. Like it feel like they're going on a Chicago Bulls run. Like everybody's kind of shaking.
No. The last time you saw this was when the Lakers had that 3-peat going with Kobe and Shaq. Everybody in the league was trying to beat that.
I didn't see that back in the day. I was too young. I was watching.
Everybody was trying to beat that.
Jalen Rose when Reggie Miller trying to take them.
Everybody was trying to beat that, bro. Trust me.
Get it. If Iverson got Webber in like 2001, I feel like it would have been a different story. If he got Webber, they made that trade too late.
Yeah, they done won 2 games instead of 1.
But let's talk about this trade. So, what do we grade? We know OKC made the most moves in all season. You know, Sam Presti, what he did with that organization, making the moves that he did. I still would knock him for the simple fact that he did not re-sign James Harden. No telling what that would have done with that organization, but that's neither here nor there. Or the fact that he didn't bring Kevin Durant any help. That shows the Westbrook's importance.
But when you go back and you look at him in that situation, how could he, considering the 3 parties that he had to work with? And if you had to pick out of those 3 at that time, which one of the 3 was going to get sacrificed? Because this is a James Harden that was just coming off a disappearing act in the finals,
and you didn't know how good Ibaka would have been.
That's true, but that's true. But then again, you would have just went into you would have basically barely dipped into your salary cap, and you still would have been able to sign him. From what I heard,
you could have signed him, but you wouldn't have been able to sign the other 3 guys, because at that point they were thinking about it as a foursome and not a threesome, because they were still thinking about Ibaka, who at that time was one of the premier young power forward talents coming up.
He was blocking everything.
And now you got to think about them playing in the West, and you're going to go and say, well, okay, am I going to sacrifice this potentially top 10 big?
Which was rare to find at the time, because even David West was top 5 at that time, so it didn't take much to be elite.
Let's not make a mistake about it. There was no huge backlash outside of Oklahoma City when Harden didn't get signed, because a lot of people didn't feel like he made the wrong move, because they felt like he let they felt like he
showed up drunk.
They felt like he let the lesser of the 4 out.
I mean, he had a bad playoffs, but finals. But I mean, the dude showed up against the Spurs.
No. He didn't have a bad finals. He had a historically horrible finals.
He had a
show for the finals. He blew the finals.
Yeah, he blew the finals on his own. Like I can say that.
Like literally, if he showed up with half the game that he usually has, they would have beat Miami.
Durant was there, and Russell. Everybody knew Russell couldn't explode off the scoring. That's why Harden would have to kind of even it out. Those 2 combined was a super guard. And Harden just didn't show up.
That's true, but looking forward, I honestly don't see how it's going to work with this team, because you're asking too much from too many pieces. You're asking Melo to become less ball dominant, buy into the system, stand there and catch and shoot. You're
asking all 3 of them to do that.
Exactly, but you also telling Westbrook that you have to be less ball dominant, and you have to spread the ball evenly around and get the other people their touches, and you have to get them. You have to Russell Westbrook. This is what's going to tell for me this season, and this is what I tell people what I'm looking for. This season is going to tell me if Russell Westbrook is a legit point guard. This is what it's going. If you can get those 2 acclimated into the system,
can I let the cat out of the bag early?
What you say?
Well, we already kind of
out of the bag early.
Let it out.
I look for Russell Westbrook to lead the league in assists far and away. I think that Russell could average close to 14 or 15 assists this season. Passing the ball really isn't his problem. Making sure that he understands the mentality that he has help when it comes to close games in the 4th quarter and not playing hero ball is going to be his problem. Passing the ball is not Westbrook's problem at all. He has no problems getting anybody involved.
It wasn't the passing that I was trying to make a reference. I was going to say that was he going to be the quote unquote what I want to say? Yeah, a lot of people view Westbrook as the best point guard in the league, but from
Now, are
our
you looking for
standpoint,
him to be more of a classic point guard? Is
exactly,
that what you're
that's what I
saying?
want to say. That's what I want to say. We view a lot of those other point guards a little bit higher in regards because the simple fact is they're more traditional. They kind of get everybody going. You know, I see that Melo, I see you falling off this game, so I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna get you going so you can get your game back going. Is Westbrook gonna be that type of player to do that? And that's what I'm really gonna be looking forward to. I want to see if he's gonna take that jump, I guess, into the stratosphere of where I put a John Wall or where I put in a Mike Conley or a Chris Paul, those type of point guards. I want to see if
Well,
he can make that jump, or is he still going to be like a Damian Lillard? Or
to me, it's a little unfair to ask him that because the system that he plays in doesn't ask him to do that. I mean, to me,
That's
I
the
look at the
system
way
fit
that
for
they
him.
play. To me, the way that I look at they play and the way that they look at him maximizing his talents is I look at it the way that I look at my team. Nobody has ever asked Tony Parker to be a classic pass first point guard. It's just not the way that their system is built. They run too much motion, much in the same way that Oklahoma City does. You don't need a guy that's going to get out there and be a pass first point guard because in their system, that's actually kind of detrimental to the way that they produce their points. You just need him to make sure that he keeps staying as unselfish with the distribution that he's been doing and keep him off the hero ball late. Russell Westbrook is never going to be that John Stockton, that Isaiah Thomas, that Magic Johnson. Well, he's actually more Isaiah Thomas than John Stockton because Isaiah was an excellent passer, but he was also a scorer for his point guard.
He was a bully in the paint when he
And I don't think that that takes away from Westbrook's game in any shape, form, or fashion because there's going to be times where George ain't going to be there, where Carmelo ain't going to be there, and he's still going to have to get it done.
15.
Well, whether by injury or whether by just not having a good damn night, period. It's not like they show up and light it up every single night. They're not those players at this point. That still remains to be seen. However, Russell Westbrook is a show up every night. I'm going to give it to you every night type player. So I would never, ever curb that creativity and that talent at the expense of two guys that just showed up for the team. That's just me personally. If I'm going to go through and still add these pieces and stuff like that, I need for it to be known on that team. You guys were brought here to help Russ.
That's true. And then
this is not the other way around. You guys aren't here to be catered to by Russ. You're here to help maximize Russ's talents because this is Russell's team. Because the message that I'm going to get out there, if I'm Sam Presti in the Oklahoma City organization, is I don't give a shit about Paul or Carmelo's name over yours when it comes down to it. We're trying to keep you here long term. We're trying to make you understand that not only are you the franchise, but we're willing to do whatever it takes to keep key pieces around you so you can contend for a championship every year that you're here.
Well, I mean, they're sending Westbrook.
Oh, they're showing improving because this is an improvement for them.
They are sending the right message to Westbrook, but is he really listening? Because I'm gonna tell you this: he still hasn't signed that extension. And if he
I mean, he's gonna weigh his options. He's gonna be smart about it, and he's gonna pay attention to the landscape of the league.
Shit, him and Paul George.
I'm gonna let you know. By October 16th, if Westbrook doesn't sign that contract, he's on a trading deadline. I'm about to trade him, and he won't be having me stuck out.
And you know what? If you Oklahoma City and you can go through and you've done everything that I need to do, and it still came up short, fans just have to understand, and that's when you click in, and it's the business side of the thing. Because yes, Russell Westbrook would hit my trading block hot, fast, and in a hurry.
Because
I would get maximum value for him.
Exactly, because with you not signing that extension, is letting me know that you're not wanting to come back to OKC, even though I did everything that I had to do and getting rid of all my pieces and assets and bringing you talent to, move you one step closer to try to get compete for a title. And if you can't, acknowledge that, then it's.
You know what? Bump it. Hey, give me Doc Rivers and them on the phone. Hey, man, let me get Blake and DeAndre, and we'll ship Russ out there to you. I know it might not be the LA team that you want, but it's going to be in LA, so you're just going to have to
bring him bear at home. Clippers.
Wow, Patrick Beverly going to get
Oh, brother, I would trade if I was OKC, I would have no problems with trading for DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin and adding it to the talent that I already have, attack free agency in the draft the following year, keep myself nice and right on that salary cap, and you'll still be a contender next year. Might be a different type of form, different type of look, but you'll still be a contender because a front line with Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, and Steven Adams will compete with anybody in the West.
That's true, but who's
going to be a tough, greedy defensive team? Yeah, nobody's going to score, fam.
Well, they got two guards. They already got an all-world defensive two guard. So, I mean, throw another point out there, which won't be hard to do. You own to something.
I mean, that's a beautiful thing. I mean, if you think about it, that is a nice little move. Or move Westbrook to, man, I would love to make a move to what you call it, OKC. I'm not OKC. Oh my God, New Orleans, the Pelicans.
Now, who would you get from them though?
I would try to plot, man. I would ply off. I personally want to ply off DeMarcus Cousins off them for the
Boy,
simple
Boogie
fact.
ain't going there.
Boogie ain't going to Oklahoma City.
You know that ego ain't gonna last. Okay, Billy Donovan.
If for no more reason than the guy that he knew from Kentucky is one of the guys that just got traded to New York for Carmelo Anthony. Because Canner ain't there no more.
If you think Westbrook and Patrick Beverly gonna work in LA?
Oh yeah.
Boy,
You got to understand the thing that makes it funny, man, is
After
a
they
lot
fish
of times when you get them heated rivals that go at each other and stuff like that, sometimes they get along real well when they're actually not competing against each other and competing towards the same goal.
I don't know, man. That hate look fresh with them boys.
But you know what? That's the nature of two true competitors, man. That's the nature of two true dogs, and you can't help but appreciate that from two guys like that. And I think that at the end of the day, they could sit down, clear the air out, get a better understanding, and say, hey, you know, past was in the past. We competitors. We both fiery. Where nobody gonna give an inch to each other, and that's all well and good. But now we're gonna walk these dogs. We're gonna get this shit together. And we're gonna make this shit pop. We in the same boat. Now we competing for the same stuff.
Well, let's go ahead and now I'm thinking about this. How about we talk about, since we've been in hibernation for a while, let's talk about another trade that happened. Let's talk about that Kyrie trade. What y'all think about that? Damn, no comment.
Yeah, like it wasn't. It didn't really change.
It didn't do anything to really change the landscape of the NBA. It really didn't do anything to change the pecking order in the East. I mean, it was just a trade.
One dysfunctional star,
You know what?
to Boston and brought in an injury star.
I think y'all are too real. I think y'all are just way too real for the world, because that's some real ass shit. Because when he made that move to Boston, everybody was just shaking. Oh Jesus, look at Boston. Oh, look at the Cavs. But I'm just like, yo, at the end of the day, everybody's still gonna lose to the Thunder. I mean, to the Thunder. To okay,
I want to see how Irvin and Hayward going to match up.
Yeah, they stuck on my head. Like I can't even get the Warriors out.
I just want to see how Irvin and Hayward going to work out together. That's
my thing, because Kyrie Irving going over there talking about he want to be the man and this, that, and the other. I guarantee you the perception by Boston fans will be that Gordon Timberlake is the leader of that team and Kyrie Irving is the creative sidekick.
He gonna come in there with his suit and tie.
Man, shouts out to Gordon. That's my man. I have loved him since he first came into the league. I have sang his praises since he first came into the league. And everything that he has become right now is everything that I expected him to be. And it's going to accelerate once he gets to Boston.
And I like what you just said. It's going to accelerate. I hope Gordon goes out here and he balls like I know that he is capable of doing. Because I remember me and before Marcus came on this show, me and DeMarcus used to always talk about Gordon Hayward and the love that he does not
Gordon
get.
Hayward, top 5 small forward in the league.
Everybody loves to underrate him as a defender, as a shooter, and a playmaker.
That dude is one of the top 10, top 15 two-way players in the league.
Thank you. And I tell people
he just played in Siberia. Nobody watches basketball.
Nobody was watching that.
Nobody watches basketball in Utah.
Everybody always love to say that getting Gordon is really not shaking anything up. But I tell people, man, you didn't watch those Utah games. I sat down and watched some of them Utah games, and Gordon Hayward, he was really moving and shaking out there, and he was really setting up a lot of things for their offense, and they would go dry. You know, Utah is known for going dry, and Gordon was really getting that offense moving. And I really can't wait to see what he's going to do with Brad Stevenson. What I want to see with Kyrie, and the thing that gives me gives me cause to, I want to say, for excitement, is I want to see what Kyrie is going to do with Brad Stevenson. With a coach like that who has the fire to get the most out of players, and what he's done over the past 3 years, I can't wait to see what he's going to get out of Kyrie that we haven't seen in Cleveland. Because from a coaching standpoint, I don't feel like Kyrie has been challenged not one time.
Not at all.
What coaching is there going on in Cleveland?
LeBron? That's what I'm saying. There's no coaching. There's LeBron, and that's probably why he wanted to leave.
Exactly. But the thing about it for me when it comes to that is I hope A, he has a thick skin, and I hope B, he's ready to get his ass back on defense, because Brad Steven is
he don't
pretty much Greg Popovich 2.0. It's like going in a time machine 30 years back and looking at Greg Popovich.
I
That
really
dude
feel like
takes nothing from nobody.
Boston is trying to turn Brad Stevens into like the Coach K of the NBA. Like that's the vision that they want. They want him to be the Coach
Oh
K.
yeah,
I
and
can't wait.
they're gonna get that vision, but they're gonna get it with more of a Popovich attitude than a Coach K attitude. Because that dude, he smiles and he looks nice, and you don't really catch it because they don't put the camera on him
But I don't
all
think
the
he's for the
time.
bullshit.
Brad Stevens don't take no shit off nobody.
He ain't ready for the bullshit, and you can tell that. You can tell that in that playoff
Yeah,
game when they
he's
went down
not a
0-2.
nonsense guy.
When they went down 0-2 against the Bulls, you saw it. He quietly was like, "Hey, you know what? My team is fucking up right now." And you know he was on the hot seat, and it's just crazy how the luck has changed for him, and it just shows how fickle fucking people are. It's like he was down 0-2, and people was like, "Oh, well, you might need to fire Brad Stevenson." But I'm like, "Yo,
Getting bashed, but that's the Boston people. They don't know how to lose. They're so fucking smart.
Do you not know what this man did for your fucking shitty organization? Y'all literally were like had scraps on your team, and he really did the most out of that. Like, oh man, people really don't appreciate a good coach.
Bro, that roster was boo boo.
There's no reason why that roster should have made the 8th seed when they made it, when they got the 4th seed or the 1st seed. Man,
exactly.
He turned scrap into motherfucking diamonds.
He overperformed every year of his contract.
Yeah, man, you got to give that man some credit, and I'm interested in see what's gonna go on. And from the media day, you know, LeBron's playing coy like always. What? I was at my child's AU basketball game. I was just as shocked as when I heard from y'all. I knew nothing about this. Fuck you, LeBron. You knew Kyrie.
Whoa. Ease up on the LeBron hate, sir. LeBron don't have nothing to do with this equation except for what Kyrie implied he had to do with this equation. That ain't got nothing to do with that, man.
No,
Let Kyrie stand on his own too with the decision.
It's true. I just laugh at the fact that LeBron, quote unquote, the runner, the organization, he's the GM, he's the owner, he's the coach, he's all the players.
Well, no, he's not the owner. He's holding the owner hostage because I have the shit that he wants to do. The owner don't really agree with because the owner hasn't wanted to spend luxury tax money like this for the last 3 years, but he ain't got no choice. That's the only way he was going to keep him. But that's the owner's fault.
That's true. But it's just like with LeBron James, when him coming out here and acting like he knew nothing about the Kyrie trade, or he's being coy, talking about, I wish he would have told me this and I would have changed this, or I wish he would have done that and we could have done stuff differently. Sometimes I think to myself, is this LeBron being coy or is this LeBron being legit? Because it's like, man, he tiptoes so much. I wish I was on a fly on the wall.
I don't really see where it would have benefited LeBron for him to just wish Kyrie out or want him to leave. So I'm thinking that some of that was genuine because at the end of the day, the only thing LeBron literally has left to accomplish in his career and in this league is just winning more championships. So doing anything that would take away from his ability to do that would be counterproductive for his brand, his legacy, and his name. So I really don't see where him being coy or acting like he didn't know anything about the Kyrie situation would benefit him. I think that part was actually genuine, to be honest, because I think that was something that was done behind the scenes, and that was both sides playing against the middle because Kyrie wanted to leverage the owner against LeBron because he knows that LeBron has been holding the owner hostage, and this was supposed to be his team. He got drafted once LeBron left. It was supposed to be his role to hold, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of times we kind of get caught up in assuming that LeBron is just omnipotent when it comes to all things basketball. There are some things that he can actually be kept in the dark about. I really don't see where this would benefit him in any way, pretending like he didn't know anything about it.
The god of basketball is never surprised.
Well, nobody said that he was necessarily surprised. I mean, it kind of caught him off guard, but notice he quickly reloaded and he's back on it.
Oh, damn you, LeBron. Damn you. Damn you.
Don't hate that man. Don't hate that man. It's all love for LeBron over here.
And then everybody moved out the way in the East, so he going back to the finals.
Yeah, I can't wait until he does it this year, and then he leaves and becomes a Spur, and he finishes out his career with 3 straight championships. And he's going right up to the sunset, baby.
Whoa, man.
Let's get this LeBron Popovich love affair cracking. Y'all know what it is?
I see. You put that out there. You put that in your universe.
It's already there, so... I mean,
and trust and believe if they swing it and play dirty pool and get Dwayne Wade's freshly bought out ass in San Antonio, oh yeah, the possibility for LeBron coming there will increase dramatically.
Man, if he went to the Spurs, I think we talked about this before. That would be really impressive, and I would love to see how they can compete against the Warriors. What Popovich would do.
the funny thing about it though, and that's no shade, honestly, if I'm the Rockets, I'm calling his ass right now.
He would
right
fit
now. That would be a super great fit.
Shit, I still would hate
Rockets.
LeBron. I don't know how I feel if LeBron came to the Rockets.
Oh
Would I
no,
hate
not
him
LeBron. D Wade. LeBron would never ever disrespect himself by coming to Houston. I'm talking about.
Damn, he would never disrespect himself. Damn, tell us how you really feel.
What was that?
That was
I'm sorry.
disrespect
My
that
bad.
you felt and that you
That was
heard.
automatic reflex. My bad. My bad.
But we got too many guards for D Wade, man. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. He would come off the bench, but then
he
again,
don't have to play guard in y'all system. That's the beautiful part about it.
So, but what would he play? What would he play? Because we have
He'd
you have to remember.
This not Flash Wade. This not Marquette Wade.
And
It's
also,
Marquette Wade. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. But I just don't know. That'd be interesting.
Marquette Wade, I'll take all day, every day. That was the coldest dude I've seen in the Final Four. I swear to God.
And the Rockets got a nice little bench.
He wanted it. He wanted it when he was in college.
What else we done missed out here in the sports world that we haven't talked about? Y'all want to talk about what's his name hitting? Didn't he get like 50 home runs or something like that?
Oh, all rise, sir. Aaron Judge broke the
give some
record set
love
by Mark McGwire. Hitting his 50th home run today. Yeah, tremendous accomplishment. Now, if he could learn to stop striking out between home runs, he'd be all right.
For these baseball playoffs, man, this is the time of the year. The perfect day I had was when the Rockets, Astros, and Texans all won in the same day, and I want to have that same feeling this year at some point. But you got to get deep in the playoffs for it to happen. Don't happen early.
I know that I know this is Fish and Grits, and we keep it sports related, and we kind of don't want to mix fantasy with this show. But let's give a little love, or it's not really even taking fantasy there. Let's go show a little love to Deshaun Watson. I got to give him some credit.
Oh, my God.
Come on, Mark. You got to give a man some credit, man.
Watch this clap back. Go ahead. Give him his credit. Go ahead.
You got to give him some love.
Go ahead.
The poise that he showed as a rookie quarterback in his second away game, the way that he played the Patriots, even though I think it's more the Patriots defense of not being that great, and that front seven that they have is not really legit as people want to lead to believe. I personally think Deshaun Watson did a wonderful job with, I guess, giving me more than I thought he was going to give. I literally thought it was going to be a
First off, he had scraps. That offensive line could not protect him at all. They couldn't even block in the running game. The running backs have to make their own things happen in order to have positive plays when he was running. So Deshaun did a great job, but that line is going to get him killed. And taking off so much, yeah, it's cool. It's good to have first downs, but sometimes those first downs are going to come in to get knocked out. And that's
to be so epically great.
Okay, what Marcus got to say? What you got to say? What you got to say, Mr. Wilson?
First off, let me say, as an ACC football fan and Seminoles fan for 30 plus years, I've watched all ACC football, and I watched damn near every snap that Deshaun Watson's ever taken since he was in college. So I'm a huge fan of the guy. Huge fan of the guy. I've never had any doubts about his ability to translate to the next level or his success at said level. However, the thing that I think is getting a little lost in the translation, and that's why I temper my excitement, is the fact that how many practices this offseason did y'all do with the Patriots? Didn't y'all play them in the preseason? Isn't half your staff from New England?
Hey, you watch your mouth. That is true.
Of course they would play New England hard because they're used to seeing everything that New England does. They try to implement everything that New England does. So it didn't surprise me that they would play hard. My thing is this. It's great to see. I'm glad that they, on both sides, they had enough to take the governor off and let Deshaun get out there and actually throw, make plays, don't rein in the playbook. Get out there, do what you need to do to try to win us this game. And the fact that the defense, for the most part, tried to back them up as best they could and play hard, keep pressure on the Patriots until that very end, and went out there and fought hard. That's great. I commend all of that. I think that it's all awesome. I'll believe it if I see the same thing next week.
Oh, yeah, he played Tennessee. But no, that's
gonna be the game. Like if he don't show up,
and see, that's my thing. That's my thing. It looks great to say that he competed hard and it was against Tom Terrific and the Patriots and stuff like that. But they ain't in your division.
If you end up 1-3, then you ain't doing nothing this year.
But I look from the standpoint of how the Patriots they love to smack the Texans around a little bit. Let's be honest. They smack us around when we play them in the season.
Oh, the defense played a hell of a game. I don't know what the hell they was doing for the last 2-minute drill.
That last 2 minutes was terrible, but I'm giving Deshaun Watson from the standpoint of I literally went into this. It's like going into a movie that I didn't expect it to be that damn good. Like when I went in and saw Planet of the Apes the first time, The Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and I came out, I was like, "Whoa, shit, that was a good ass movie." I didn't expect that, or The Kingsman, or various other movies I didn't see. But it's like going into this game. I woke up late. I was hungover. I turned on the Texans game. I was like, "Oh, well, this is gonna be a fucking slaughter. I don't want to watch this bullshit." And I'm just watching the game, just recovering from the hangover, and I'm just like, "Damn, this is a damn good game." I didn't expect him to play this well under that much pressure. And my boy
Bill
Tom
O'Brien
Brady,
this is his 4th year. This is his first 300-yard passer and his second start at the Patriots at Gillette Stadium.
That's what I'm impressed with. And I didn't see a lot of, quality quarterbacks that could throw. Hoyer could have thrown 300. He's good for those 300-yard games, and I have not seen it yet. And for seeing what Deshaun Watson did with the lack of, I guess, weapons on offense, the offensive line struggling, the running backs not really getting going, he really showed a lot of poise. He was light on his toes. He was looking very Russell Wilson-like, the way he was alluding.
He was Russell and Aaron Body. He's Russell and Aaron Body. I'm telling you.
He was. Come on now, Marcus. Come on. I gave Aaron
my goodness. Okay, well let's look at it like this then. Since we want to come from a historical and we're doing all this mixing and matching and stuff like that, let me give you a little trivia to go in with this. One of the biggest things that they hyped up about this was this. This was the second time in NFL history that a Super Bowl champion and a defending national champion quarterback met in an NFL game. Do you remember who the first was?
Aaron versus Cam.
Aaron versus Cam. What did Cam do in that game?
He was throwing
3 or 4 touchdowns. Yeah, and everybody was singing his praise, and he was the next this, the next that, and this, that, and other. How's it working out for Cam right now with no line?
Hey, you watch your mouth. Don't you compare them to Cam Newton.
Oh, I'm sorry. Don't you ever in your life ever compare anything about Deshaun Watson to Aaron Rodgers unless he has a little bit more on his resume than a 301-yard game.
All I said is Rodgers, because Russell Wilson is fine.
I'm sorry. Deshaun Watson cannot do anything close with a football throwing wise.
I said body size.
He ain't got the body for it.
I didn't say Aaron Rodgers. See, but I didn't say Aaron Rodgers. I didn't
say you did specifically. Okay. I heard it come through this transmission though.
We said Russell Wilson with Aaron Body. He's Aaron Hyde. Goddamn.
I'm not gonna say he's not.
No, don't you disrespect like that. No.
He ain't that many 6'2".
He can be Russell Wilson in Tom's body.
Tom 6'4".
he can be Russell in Tom's body.
That's like
put some lifts in his shoes. He can be Russell in Tom's body.
He's Russell Wilson and Eli Manning. I think Eli's 6'4" too.
Do that.
I got nothing for you.
See, I feel like Marcus took that to heart. He took it to heart.
I'm just messing with y'all, man. I'm just messing with y'all. I'm not taking it no kind of way. I'm just messing with y'all.
He was like, man, if you ever had PF chains, don't you bring that payway to me and tell me this is PF chains.
You know what I'm saying? How dare you disrespect me with this motherfucking Timmy Chans, and I'm over here eating this PF chains. You know what? As a matter of fact,
slap the plate down.
One of that 4 brothers just dump it on the floor. Matter of fact, why don't you go on down there and enjoy that meal?
I'm gonna go ahead and give Aaron Rodgers a little love and give him a little shout out for getting that first dub.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, man. We got other programming to discuss all that stuff.
Oh yeah. You're right.
Okay, let's not. Yeah. We can't get into all that because we gotta wait until other things progress and stuff like that. We'll definitely make sure we give the people to what they want as far as fishy and gritty and all that good stuff. Because I know that these names are gonna still come up, so we're not gonna get too far ahead of ourselves with it. But in all sincerity, it's progress for Deshaun Watson because it was live action again. It was playing against the NFL's best. Again, not under the greatest of conditions. And he didn't wilt under the pressure. He actually thrived. He did his part. He made some very Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson-esque plays at times. Some of the throws that he made under pressure and under duress, some of the little passes.
Not a lot of it.
You're going through and you're throwing and you got a defensive end hanging off your left shoulder and you still get the pass off. I mean, he had some very impressive moments in there. I really, really was impressed by his poise, by his presence. And the number one thing that I always look for when it comes to young quarterbacks is how hard do your teammates play for you?
They play hard.
And they went all out. I would never have expected in a million years to say that the Texans would have put up 30 points on the Patriots.
At home,
to be
I
honest.
never would have said that.
Yeah, I never would have said that. So
30
that
points.
that
When I
says
seen it, I said, damn.
that says a lot in
I don't
itself.
even know if the 3-ticker work like every line. Like that shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
That's
it's
a
one of
deal.
those things that was rare to see, but it's encouraging. It's progress. Now, if we can trickle down and understand that Lamar is not your feature back, and it might be Deontay time sooner rather than later.
Excuse me,
Turn up
public
the
service
line.
announcement, please.
Get that train going. Choo choo.
On 3rd and 1, I need to create this petition or something, bro.
Yeah,
On 3rd and
you
1,
take that
if
picture,
you
paint
are
it.
the Houston Texans, I need Deontay Foreman in on every 3rd down.
I
If
need
he
my
don't
power
get it on
back.
3rd and 1, run it again on 4th and inches. Get him the damn ball because Lamar Miller has in that single back formation
It's
is
not
not
gonna
about to
work.
bust through that line to get this first down.
He is not that big. If
It
you stand
ain't
at the,
gonna happen.
he is not that big of a back.
It ain't gonna happen. Like
Nah,
that
that's
is the smallest dude that he say he supposed to be 226. That dude ain't 226.
Then you 200.
That nigga need to stop lying on that weight.
Stop lying. That's
Probably
like Russell
190.
Wilson. Remember Russell Wilson
Y'all
was like,
ain't in that man
I'm
kitchen.
6'8",
Y'all ain't in that man
39.
kitchen. Y'all don't know what he eating.
No,
He might just carry his weight well. He might just carry his weight well.
Well,
Yeah, you know he might. He might.
legs,
He
but
might.
he don't even. Whatever, man.
He might carry his
He
weight
might.
well. He might. You know you ever bumped into somebody was like, hey man.
If you
you
want to
kinda-
even run the
kinda
ball,
small.
line back up in 4 verticals like you was, and let.
Okay,
put
let
the
me
ball in
ask
the
this
best
because
hands
they
of
look
the player.
about
You gonna
the
kill
same
him?
size. Because I mean, you're basically saying that he's smaller than Ty Montgomery. Because Ty Montgomery is
And
226.
you see, I don't like
big.
Ty Montgomery with a full workload.
But Ty
Well,
Ty
I ain't saying
Montgomery,
that
that guy that-
I'm talking about his size. Y'all saying that he don't seem to be 226.
Looking at-
So are you saying that he's smaller than Ty?
he's smaller than Ty. Looking at Ty Montgomery,
He could
especially
be.
this year, Ty
They
Montgomery
about
put
the
on some
same.
muscle.
I was
no,
about to
Ty-
say, to me, they look like they're identical in
You
size.
think so, man?
Yeah, they're the same.
Yeah,
They're
to
the
me, they
same
look like
player.
they're the exact same size. That's why it's
I
not
thought
strange
Ty
to
look
me
a little
that
bit
same
obese.
type.
that he's 226. Now Ty is definitely
Ty got
thicker
better
through the
hands.
legs
Ty got better
than
hands.
Lamar Miller is. And yeah,
So-
he has infinitely better hands than Miller.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
But as far as like running through the middle, I think they both got the same features. Like it's nothing special by either
Yeah, well,
one.
I mean, if you depended on Lamar Miller to be your between the tackles back, then you just scout wrong. I mean,
It ain't gonna work.
That's just being honest.
Yeah, we already know.
That's not what got him to the league. That's not what made him an NFL player.
At all.
Catching swing
I'm not
passes
gonna- I'm not gonna-
catching swing passes and running outside the tackles is what Lamar Miller did for his bread and butter.
Exactly, especially just what he did at Miami when he got out.
Yeah,
racked
That's
up all
what
those
he got
yards
him paid
on
by
that
the
edge.
Texans.
Yes, sir. And that's when he was killing Miami. But yeah, it was interesting to see the Texans actually have a good game. It was a great game, in my opinion. Man,
Shout
what
out
else?
to Clowney for the touchdown. That boy showed
Yeah.
those burners again. He
I thought he was out of
been
there.
trying to get in the zone for about 3 games now.
I need.
finally
Good
got
job,
there.
Clowney, for doing what you're supposed to do.
Exactly.
I'm not about to prop him for that. Good job for doing what you're supposed to do, Clowney. That's what they gave y'all that money
Boy,
for.
you a tough critic.
Oh, I'm sorry. What's Clowney sack total at?
Oh Lord, does he have a sack? We had a bunch of almost.
I'm just asking. I mean, if we're gonna get down to brass tacks, that's what he gets paid to do, right? Disrupt plays, destroy the pocket, sack the quarterback, right?
Hey,
So
they was
he
disrupting
does
plays.
that on that elite level. I mean, it's a step in the right direction. It's great, but I'm not about to prop him for doing his job. He
That's
didn't do
right.
anything that was above and beyond to me in that game. He did what's expected of him in that game. Now, if he popped out with a 14 tackle, 3.5 tackles for loss, 2 sack game with a fumble return for a touchdown, okay, then I'm giving Jadeveon Clowney props. But I didn't see that happen because last week, the dude from Buffalo that plays defensive end, Lorenzo Alexander, had almost that exact same stat line.
He can do it all though. He can even cover.
Knock
shit.
him down.
I'm just saying.
I need it. See, what you did was I was trying to increase the value of Jadeveon Clowney so I can sell this
Failure.
autographed football so I
Failure,
can get
sir.
some money off
Failure.
it.
Failure,
But yeah,
sir.
what else we missed out here in sports?
Oh man.
I think we covered pretty much the interesting stuff right now. We just ready for basketball season to kick off and we good to go. We can talk about the NFL.
No, I actually do want to dip back in and kind of get the opinion. I know it's not y'all's real strong suit or whatever, but it's so prevalent to this city because we're on the cusp of watching the Astros with arguably the best team that they've ever had. Get ready to go into this playoff for what should be a deep run. I think that they can actually make it to the World Series. And now knowing, because we all live here, how
I
it
do too.
is
Just
when
gotta
teams are
get past
successful
these
in
damn
this
Indians.
city, that's the
These Indians.
the city is so much more interesting when its sports teams are winning. That's a proven fact
Exactly.
in the city. This city is whenever their teams are successful. The last time when the Astros went to the World Series, the entire summer was like a damn party in the city. And now going through having the lineup that you have, having all the young talent, great hitters, one of the arguably the best hitting lineup in baseball. But then you go through and you kind of shore up a mediocre pitching staff by adding a key piece like Justin Verlander, who's one of the top 10
Ace.
baseball. Period.
Ace.
Like, dude is a workhorse. Dude is a monster with postseason experience, which is another thing that's an added bonus for them. Can you guys see them, making it to the World Series, or is it one of those typical Houston years where they come up short?
When you talk about Dallas Keuchel as your number 2, like Verlander's the number 1. Let's get this straight. I don't know how you feel about Verlander's the number 1. You bring JB there to be the number 1. He's gonna start game 1. He's gonna start game 7. Don't get the shit fucked up, all right?
Yeah.
But if you got Dallas Keuchel as your number 2, and whatever the fuck you can get out of this bum ass McCullers, I think you're in good shape. Now the bullpen gets beat up a lot, so it's gonna be some games to where if the bats ain't going, it's a tight game. The bullpen may get beat up for about 4 or 5 runs. You may lose that game. But the bats got to stay hot. They got to stay consistent. But Verlander, I feel like that's a lock for a dub. I want to say Keuchel is a lock, but you can't get off on his ass because the fastball is really not there this year. You can tell he's a shell of himself. That's the thing that concerns me because we can go into any game and we don't know what type of Keuchel we're going to get. He may be that dominant guy that won the Cy Young, or he may be this guy we've been seeing for the past 4 or 5 months. So I feel like if McCullers can sneak out maybe one dub in an important series like a game 4, game 5, that can turn everything around. But it's gonna take a McCullers lucky dub. It's gonna take Verlander being undefeated in the playoffs. That's the only way. That's the only way. If Verlander lose a game as the newly acquired ace, the clubhouse is gonna be down because it's gonna be like, damn, he's the guy, But this is what we brought him in for. And if you blow an important game with him going out there on the starting mound, then they're gonna start questioning like, shit, was Keuchel the ace? Now we letting Keuchel down? So it's a lot of things that's involved. Baseball's an emotional sport because they play so much. You always around this team. Yes. It's an emotional sport. So if you lose that clubhouse, that's how bad runs happen.
Oh yes.
I know nothing about baseball, so I kept quiet.
For me, I think the thing is for them to have sustainability with the starting pitching. To me, I think as far as the playoffs are concerned, if their starting pitchers can't at least go 6 1/3, they're going to be in trouble. Because their middle relief is their late inning relief is okay. Their middle relief is a little shaky to me, and I think that's where they lose games. If like their starters can't last more than 6 innings, I think in 6, 7, or 8, the tie can turn in some of those closer games, some of those lower scoring games, and can cost them. I also think
you beat the Astros with grand slams because the bullpen is going to get the bases loaded at least once.
Well, see, I think that's another part of the double-edged sword for them too. I think that they are much more effective on the road than they are at home. I think
that's
that
weird.
Certain parts about it's not weird because you look at the way that they're constructed and what type of pitchers that they have. When you're playing for the Houston Astros, if you are not a ground ball pitcher, you're not going to be very successful in that little bitty ass park. If you are a fly ball pitcher, you're not going to do well in that park because it's too small. Fly balls are going to be home runs every single time in that stadium.
That's why they built it that small.
You have to get ground ball pitchers, and that's the part about it that I think people lose in the translation. They have to specifically scout and go out and get ground ball pitchers. You have to keep the ball in the park and let the defenders do what they do. I also, look at the fact that all season they've been monstrous generating runs on the road, going into opposing stadiums and just knocking the cover off the ball. I think that'll benefit them greatly. I literally think if Astros are playing on all cylinders and they're doing everything that they need to do, the only opposition that they might have in these playoffs will be the Indians. The Yankees are too young, in my opinion.
We cannot beat them right now. Oh, that's our Cardinals.
Hey, join the club because as of recently, it ain't been too many teams to beat the Indians. Period. They just came off a 22-game win streak.
Yeah.
I mean,
they was running.
It's not just y'all. It's not just y'all.
But but that's the one team that all year has just been consistently like owning our ass. Like they've been.
Everybody's got a thorn in their side as far as teams go and stuff like that. And yes, the Indians have had the Astros number all year long. So it'll be interesting to see if they get to that point where they have to face them. But like I said, if it's a situation where the Astros don't have home field advantage and they have to play Cleveland in Cleveland, I actually like their chances better playing Cleveland in Cleveland than playing them in Houston.
I'm with you. I'm with you 100%.
All right, Griff, you can come back to the conversation now.
I'm back. Okay, I'm back. Took a quick nap there. I'm ready to go.
Oh, don't go snooze fest on the baseball.
No. I was listening to what y'all was saying. I wish I could get into baseball, but the way
it's a fun game. Like I don't know if you really give it a shot.
I think seeing it in person will probably give you a better impression than seeing it like on TV. Yeah. It's not cool to catch up on and get into it watching it on TV. You got to watch it live.
The way
at least watch for the playoffs. At least watch a couple games.
I don't want to be a fake bandwagon fan, but I'm a watch. But it's the way the life is going. It seemed like Xavier is going to be a baseball player, so I think I'm going to be stuck watching baseball for many years to come.
Tie that on behind his back and make sure you throw it that left. Get that money.
Well, you know what? He's left-handed. Okay,
that's half the problem right there.
We about to get that money. Get paid.
Hey, they give up that premium guap for them lefties, homie.
Exactly.
Well, you know what? Let's transition a little bit. And since we're still on all our things sports related and stuff like that, and it's a wonderful season for it. Any of you guys playing Madden or NBA 2K right now?
No, but I will be
playing NBA 2K.
I will.
You gotta hop on the NBA 2K, bro. You got to. It's a must.
I just got 2K. I just got it downloaded to my PS4. So far, so good. I like some of the things that they got going on. I'm waiting for them to patch up some of the things that are a little choppy. I do have some issues with their shooting interface early on in the game, but I'm expecting them to probably develop some patches here in the next month or so to kind of clean that up. Going through, the one thing that I really did was I experimented with a lot of the teams and stuff like that. Started the My Player. It's cool. One of the things about me, for anybody that really gives a shit, when I play My Player on 2K18, because it's something I just started doing, two things are always going to happen. Number one, the guy that I choose is going to be a big man.
Hey, we gonna have to hoop, bro. We gonna have to.
I do the same thing.
When I go through and create my player and I work on their different, little moves and stuff like that, my player's jump shot is always going to be Dirk Nowitzki.
Oh, we got the Dirk.
Mine's Kevin Durant.
Why not go with the best?
Mine's Kevin Durant.
But my issue is you go through and you have your traditional shooting meter, and you can go through and you can get the slightly early, slightly late, the good, the excellent, and stuff like that. You can go on there now, and if my stuff, because I know Nowitzki's mechanics, I know how to get it perfect every single time, and I get it perfect like 8 out of 10 times. It can be full on excellent rating. I can be wide open, and you will still miss the shots on that game. That is a fundamental problem that I cannot accept on that game right now. I can go through and
my man
this game that's like spectacular is the fact that you can go through with the all-time teams, the all-star teams, if you will, for each of the individual franchises. Playing for shits and giggles and went through and off of my little brother's suggestion, played with the OKC all-time team, because it's basically a blend of OKC and Seattle Supersonics. Ray Allen is on that team. Prime Ray Allen is on that team. Prime Ray Allen, I'm hitting the excellent on my shooting range, and I'm wide open, and I'm missing shots with Prime Ray Allen. That is a fundamental problem that needs to be addressed.
That was the problem in last year's 2K. I would constantly be playing.
I hated last year's 2K.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
It was the worst video game I ever played.
It's the most bullshit ever, because I'm gonna tell you this right now. I used to play Shantae's brother all the fucking time in 2K, and he'll start his shit talking because he always puts in some type of cheat code. I felt it seemed like none of my niggas would hit
not the cheat code. Not the cheat code.
No, he didn't actually put in the cheat code, but in my mind, I feel like
that NBA Jam cheat code.
I'm gonna tell you right now, James Harden couldn't hit nothing open. Ryan Anderson wasn't hitting nothing open. I swear.
You were playing with the Rockets and wondering why you were losing.
Yeah.
Don't be rude now.
Trevor Reese don't hit.
You was playing with the Rockets and wondering why you were losing.
But it was even bad. It's like I would even go play with I think I played with man, what team did I play with? One of the good teams. It was the updated versions. Man, I want to say I played with. It's not the Warriors, because I don't like playing with the Warriors. It may have been the Mavs or something like that, because I also like to use the Mavs a lot. So I get Dirk, because he has a weird shot. You got to hold it a little bit longer, and you kind of know the motions of it. But like you said, 2K is always on that 2K bullshit, and this is even dating back to college, man. It just minutes them. It's those times 2K does that bullshit. No, I'm not even talking about college. I'm talking about back when I played 2K in college with the NBA. It's like you'll go for.
Okay.
I literally lost the game because I went up for a dunk. I was down by 1 point. I went up for a dunk, dunked the ball. The ball came out of the fucking hoop, and I lost the game. And I was like, "What kind of bullshit is this?"
That happens in real life,
2K,
sir.
2K has the bullshit.
That happens in real life, sir. Now, another feature that I will say that I like about 2K is, they usually have, the regular teams, and then they'll have the all-star team, and now they improvise the all-time teams for each organization, and they still have the old school teams, like you'll have the Bulls championship teams, the Pistons championship teams, yada yada, so forth and so forth. They've actually added a few more teams that I've seen on there that are kind of interesting. I've seen some 2001, 2002 Sacramento teams on there. I've seen
Yeah, they finally got C
02
Webb on the game.
Yeah, I've seen a 01, 02. We just upset the defending MVP Dirk Nowitzki Golden State Warriors with Baron Davis on there. They've got the Mavs championship team on there.
Oh, nice.
They've got I want to say the 2013 Miami Heat team on there. Like they've kind of stepped it up a little bit. They have, and it's so funny, and it lets you know exactly how dominant they are. Last year's Warriors team is one of those teams that's on there.
That soon, huh?
Oh man, that soon. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. And surprisingly enough, and I love it because they actually picked my prime team. They have the 05 Spurs on there, which I'm going to enjoy beating the brakes off of people with.
Man, I can't wait. Hey, man, I can't wait to play that game. It's gonna be nice.
Hey, that 05 Spurs team is the only championship team in which that big three were all in their prime.
They were in their prime. They was lethal.
They were all in their prime.
What system y'all boys got it on?
I'm a PS4 guy for now. I'm about to pre-order my Project Scorpio Xbox here sometime soon. Whenever I get my permission slip signed by my wife. You gotta get that home pass. Hey, brother, I'm registered, potty trained, and house broken. Baby, I am not.
Do you mind? Man, you get an hour every other day.
Baby, I washed the dishes. I did all the laundry.
Can I?
I'm just saying.
Please.
I'm just saying. I just went and got your oil changed. I just washed the car. I'm just saying.
I'm off tomorrow. I cook dinner.
What else you need?
Oh, yeah, that's up there. That's up there. My wife don't eat meat too. She's on the vegan tip, so salads galore. Oh yeah, steamed vegetables, stir fry. I'm good with
baby, I got you with that good salad, man. I cut some fresh eggs in there. Woo!
You know what I'm saying? I got that kale going, a nice kale spring mix. Yeah, baby. I'm trying to show you things, boo. It's all about you right now. But my game is downloading. Is it cool if I,
Can I just hop on this real quick?
And she'll roll her eyes because my wife is awesome, and she'll be like, "Yeah, I knew it was some shit behind this. Whatever." See,
but what I love about Shantae is we used to always play.
You want your hair done, baby?
Me and Shantae used to always compete with each other playing 2K, but then it got bad because after a while I started buying other games and I started neglecting our 2K times. So she kind of put the PlayStation in timeout. So
you want to play Love in 2K, man?
Now see, for me and my wife, our thing.
I was ready for. I was playing Uncharted and Grand Theft Auto. She was just like,
my thing with me and my wife has always been Tekken. My wife loves playing Tekken.
Hey, that's nice.
So we get together and it works out so good because a lot of our mutual friends will get together at the house and stuff like that, and we'll all jump on the sticks and just play Tekken.
A motherfucking Tekken party.
And it goes hard, and feelings get involved, and everything else.
It's those close Tekken losses that hurt.
Man, that little ankle kick at the end. Oh my God, that ankle kick is the worst. It's like
they spin around and you just slip. You're like, what?
It's the highest form of disrespect ever in a Tekken game. You could be going through and hitting them with super moves.
Yeah,
they come with that little ankle kick at the last minute to beat them. It's the ultimate form of disrespect. I might throw the sticks at you if you did me like that.
I remember one time I was playing 2K, man. I won the overtime. I hit a 3-point shot, and then here comes fucking who was I playing? I was playing my boy Jose, who loved to play with OKC. He got KD that came at the top of the key. I'm talking about
you could not stop KD about 5 years ago.
And let me tell you, he came out of bounds on the other side of the court, and he just tossed it up there with I think he was like a second left, and he made that hole. I punched a hole in a wall. I was so pissed. I was defeated as a human being that night because I swore in my mind
you wasted like 30 minutes of your life trying to play this game.
I had the shortest celebration of victory that did not last. I made a three and he had that 1 second left and I was talking shit. Fuck you, game over. He stepped in, hit that shit. I was done. I didn't
surprise, bitch.
I didn't talk to him for the rest of the week.
Splash. Ooh, my boy was mad. My boy was pissed.
I was hot, man. They'll tell you if you know anybody who went to college with me. I tell that story. He got down with 2K. But yeah, man, hey, we had a good show, man. It was a lot of shit we talked about. It was good to be back.
No, definitely.
Can somebody
definitely.
explain to me why old man Fitzgerald has 10 receptions on 10 targets?
Because Dallas can't cover him at all.
I told y'all he was gonna be top
everything.
20. I mean,
Yeah, this fishing and gritty on the next podcast is gonna be super duper interesting.
Oh,
buddy.
it's gonna be really interesting.
Definitely, fellas. But as for now, this has been Fish and Grits, and you guys have just been served.
Y'all enjoy.
Peace.